It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Good evening, model citizens. Welcome to Sidetrack Sunday. My name is Heath. This is Humanity Junction, and Sidetrack Sunday is the live stream where things usually get derailed, good off the track a little bit. But I've got an agenda today, so maybe I'll try and keep it together at least for a little bit. I'm going to talk about all the different scales that I have, kind of get into why I chose some of the different scales, and talk a little bit about why I like different scales for different reasons. I'm also going to do a giveaway. I've been giving away some of these billboard flat cars that I made with the Humanity Junction billboard on them. So I got that going on as well. And that's basically going to be what we get. Let's take a look and see who we have joining us tonight. Nissy Johnson's in the house. We got Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider. Bangatu Junction Carl checking in. Big G's, welcome. Haven't seen you around in a while. Good to see you back. James from Boulder Creek Yard is in the house. We've got Cameron, Caboose 121. We have Cat Nuts at Southern Yankee Railroad. Just realized I'm talking so fast. I should maybe take a breath. Dave BNSFN Scales here. Dwight Curley's here as well. Checking in from Canada is Chris from Go Via and Go Home. We have Joe Rader, Black Rock Central. We have Alan from Jumping Someone Else's Trains. Joe, Crazy Joe 67's here. Tyler, Lackawanna Rail fan in the house. Lauren Hurwitz joining us. Lynn McCurdy also checking in from the West Coast. Marty, M&M Short Lines Railroad. We've got John Mystic Southern Railway. Norm Miller in the house. Ray Boble, another one of our Sidetrack Sunday delinquents. Roy Eltham, I saw he's here and listening, but not quite here and chatting, but he'll be back. Santa Fe Bob is here. We've got John Schuylkill River Valley. SP and 53, Daylight and Overnight. Thomas Split Rock 321 coming over from TSG Multimedia. I was just on TSG Multimedia before this. You got to check out, I think it's April 25th, the Pacific Coast region of the NMRA has just a really great planned convention. It's it's going to be a virtual convention, but the way they're doing it, I just think it's going to be really fantastic. So if you can, definitely get over there and check that out. Steve, Don't Be Like Me Childers, and we also have Steve 87th PSAP. And last but not least, holding up the bottom, we've got Tom from Tom's Trains and Things. So who did I miss? Anybody? Let's see. Another quick look. If I missed you, I apologize. But let's get looking at some of the stuff I have. But actually, before we talk about the different scales, I do actually have a little box here. So let's do a little mail call first. I'll move my agenda so you don't get ahead in the show, because apparently the Steves are ganging up on me already tonight. So don't make me put you guys in timeout and mute both you guys already. So, this purchase was a little bit inspired by Containerman 68. I haven't seen him yet, but if he does not show up, I will definitely text him a picture. I'm fighting with the box is what I'm doing, because, there's easy ways to do things, and then there's the way I'm doing things. As people know, and as we'll talk about a little bit more, I love circus stuff. Just a big fan of anything circus. And Anthony, just to be clear, we're not just talking about, it's WrestleMania. That's a friend of mine's watching WrestleMania. We're not just going to talk scales. I'm going to talk about what the best scales are. I'm just starting trouble. Let's see what happens when you hang with me. Yeah, I cannot get, so you can see the one. I actually got two of them. I just couldn't. Oh, I see. It's stuck a little bit to the box. Container Man basically has a bunch of trucks, and he's kind of building a layout around the trucks. And I saw these trucks, Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey trucks with the red tractors, which I love. And if you don't know, Container Man has a red tractor. That's actually his favorite color as well. SPN 53, thanks for coming. Family comes first, man. Have a good evening. Enjoy your time with your family. But yeah, so I just, I think these are probably close to HO scale. I can never remember. I think Hot Wheels are 164, but Matchbox might be 187, or I think it's maybe Matchbox trucks are 187, but the cars are scale stuff. I don't know. Anyway. I do have one more thing. I mentioned that Roy Eltham told me about setting up an Amazon wish list, so that instead of just, giving a super chat or a super sticker or becoming a member or doing any of that kind of stuff, another option would be that you can go onto my Amazon wish list and you could just purchase something off of there and it would ship direct to me. So Roy, actually, when I was setting it up and testing it, I would send him the link and say, hey, what do you see? Is this working or whatnot? So today in the mail, I actually got a couple items. Ralph Renzetti says Matchbox is 176. So I was completely wrong. Not 187, not 164, 176, right in the middle. Although Steve says, let's see, many of the trucks are at or near. Yeah, I don't, actually, I've got the HOGG1. Maybe if I pull that out later, we can hold it up against the Matchbox truck and we'll kind of see, we'll see what that is. But yeah, so I created this Amazon wish list. I'm using the blameheath.support link that people already know about. And I've just got a bunch of stuff listed. And if you just select, what's not purchased, you can see all of the items that I'm looking for. And so, Roy, I've wanted one of these. It did not go away. I clicked the button. There we go. I've wanted one of these uh, Excel little miter boxes for a long time. Just never ended up purchasing it. So Roy Eltham got it from my wish list. The other thing he got is, as people know, I love these lever nuts. I use the lever nuts on like everything. I just find them so simple to use. They make my situation where things are temporarily wired just so easy to use. Ray says just put them near the back of the layout. You'll never know the difference. That is true. Anthony's saying the Amazon wish list is like a bridal registry. It is. It is like a bridal registry. If you do happen to go to the list and check the list out, you'll notice that I've got descriptions on a bunch of the items, and some of the items I actually don't need. I say need. Do I really need any of it? No. Oh, sorry. Real quick. So these are more filters for my airbrush booth, which I definitely plan on using a lot more. So yeah, I love when people come in and they say I'm here, yay! Like people are actually excited to be here. I think that's really awesome. But Adam, welcome Nathan Delay. I think Tyler, did I say hello to you already? I can't remember. Hello again, Tyler, if I didn't. New Fenris Railroad's here as well. John, you're gonna have to explain how to say your name at some point. I'm assuming the K is silent, but not really sure. John Knopfel. Daniel Banks is in the house. Tim CP368 is here. Ralph Renzetti's here. Kyle Stevens checking in as well. Mike Rail Artist is here as well. Dragon Lover 68 in the house. So what I was saying is I'm not going to need a lot of the stuff on my wish list because June is actually when I think I'm going to be able to get into my new space. So, as some people know, I've been looking for a space where I don't need to like set up and take down. Like every time I do a live stream, every time I do a video, I have to set up some stuff and then put some stuff away. So I've been looking at this small space, and I'm in New York City, so compared to everybody, it's small. But my brand is being a model railroader in a small apartment. So having a small space is kind of, right in line with my brand. So before I actually settled on whether I was going to do it or not, I used AnyRail 6, and I just started laying out the space to see like would it be a viable solution? Is it something that I could make work? And it's going to be tight. It's going to be working in a small space, but I'm seeing a comment right now that I don't really understand the comment, but Lynn McCurdy is asking Daniel Banks, did you miss Todd almost setting his house on fire last night while trying to weather burnt wood? Boy, that's yeah, so the space is basically a walk-in closet for most people, but it's looking like in June it's going to be mine. I'm probably going to end up with one of these two layouts. The one on your left is probably where I'm going to start. And the reason for that is when I do set up my N-Track, if you've seen any of my live streams where I've set up my N-Track stuff, Grandpa Rels, thank you so much for starting the night off with a super sticker. I really appreciate it. Love seeing that pop up. Much appreciated. And so let me just get back to where I was. StreamYard's sometimes not the easiest to switch around, so I'm using a combination of OBS and StreamYard for this. But back to the picture. Hey, Randy from Grandpa Rails and Randy from RDNT checking in at the same time. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so the one on the left if you look at the layout in the bottom right corner, that's the current setup. When I set up N-Track, currently in my apartment, and you see me running N-scale trains, that's the orientation it's set up in. So I'll probably start there. Thomas is right. Thomas is asking, is it N-Track or T-Track? It's T-Track. I spent this morning talking about N-Track, so got it in my head. It is t-trak. It's my t-trak layout, so it's a modular layout. I set it up on two 2-foot by 4-foot tables. Eventually, though, I do want to build a wooden frame on wheels. And the idea with the wheels is that then I can, move the layout around. And when I do that, I'll go to the version on the right, which will give me a nice background. When I do these kind of streams, you'll be able to see the layout right behind me. But being on wheels, I'll be able to, move it around. And yeah, so, this is, I think this is probably where I'm going to end up is some sort of layout like this. I keep seeing them. They're talking about all this stuff. Let's see. Todd was live showing how to weather wood. Someone, Dirt Spot 7, suggests burning it with a lighter. Todd had just weathered using alcohol. Oh, that's too funny. Not really, but yeah, alcohol and fire do not mix. Wow. Multitasking, the thing that everyone does that they say is not really something that's possible to do. But yeah, I agree. So the other thing I'm planning to do for this room, just to sort of complete this, well, actually I got a couple more things, but thing for this room, I'm probably going to do some track on the ceiling. Right now, this is actually O gauge, G gauge, and HO scale, which fits into this conversation, being as it's, a little piece of everything. But one thing I've been doing too is I've been trying to figure out what paint color to paint the walls. I want it to be a neutral gray. So I downloaded all the codes for all the Benjamin Moore paint colors, and I went through and I found what were the gray colors that Benjamin Moore sells that have very little tint to them. So the differential right there is basically how far off of neutral it is. So I think I'm going to go with the third line down, which is Wall Street, which is CSP20, which is 147, 148, 147 in RGB, so it's only one off. So it's pretty close to 0% hue and that sort of thing. Oh, that's actually Split Rock. Let me know, what is New York Central light gray? That might be interesting. I am trying to do something that doesn't, for my videos, I don't want it to tint what I'm working on. If you choose a neutral gray, it means that all of your colors will be fairly color accurate, which is kind of what I'm going for in that sense. So yeah, let's see. So we got the paint. The desk is this same desk, this same setup. The camera will basically be in the same spot, but behind me you'll see the layout instead of seeing this background wall that I got going on here. The layout is T-Track, even though for some reason I even wrote N-Track on this here, but it's T-Track, O and G, maybe HO. Oh, the shelves. So I'm thinking is Alpha makes this top track that you then hang all of the standards off of. And what I like about that is once the top track's installed, you can pretty much just hang anything you want on it. Melinda, if you're listening, the dog is trying to get in the door. Our dog's over there whining at the bedroom door. But the track, you just hang the standards off of, and then you can put the shelves anywhere. So if you want to move it around, you can move the shelves around. Adam, silver screen, Bear, 61 is a little brighter than I want, but that is really neutral. 205, 206, 205. It's got about the same neutral balance. The LRV of the color I'm looking at, I believe, is about 30%. So it's a little bit darker, a little bit less light bounce. Anissa's asking, what is T-Track? T-Track is a modular system that uses Kato Unitrack, and it uses their, I don't think I have it right here with me. Yeah, I don't have any here, but it uses their double wide track, and basically it's a module with that double wide track, and the modules just sit on tables, so the modules themselves don't have legs. And it's a very small, compact way of doing modular railroading. So like when I'm done, I just take the modules apart, stack them all up on top of each other, and stick them in the closet. So yeah, Tim, every room in the building is a closet. That's true. That is true. Yeah, multi-level, multi-scale. And I love all of these different scales. I think there's something really cool about, the different ones. I'm not going to get into all the narrow gauge scales. I'm mostly a standard gauged gauge guy. Although I do have O gauge, which isn't to scale, so it's smushed. But I like all the different scales actually, and I completely blame Roy Bogle for this. But I've got all these GG1s in different scales in the back. That's an O gauge GG1. In front of that is HO. In front of that would be N scale, and then the one at the very front is Z scale. And it's really kind of interesting to see how the detail in the Z scale one carries all the way back to the O scale one, that they're able to get that much detail. The other thing that I really like that's kind of fun is with an O gauge GG1, it's actually shorter than the HO GG1. If it was full scale, the O scale one would be twice the size of the HO, but it's not. And what that means is I can have that O gauge GG1 running on O27 track, running around the ceiling, and that's plenty of, it can make those tight curves. So I think there's something really sort of fun about, having these different scales and doing these different kind of things. Now, not everyone might agree with different scales. Some people might be, really like locked into one scale. Some people might still be doing DC. They might not even have moved on to DCC. But I'm not going to judge. I think whatever you're up to is all good. But
I figured if you were going to blame me for something, I might as well show up.
Ray, man, it is. I have. Let's see if I switch to my side camera. Here's the HO. Here's the Z. Here's the N. Here's the O. These three here are all 4935 blackjacks. The blackjacks that I could find in O are just so expensive that I'm not going there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But part of what I love is the reason I got into these different scales is because, here's a circus train in what is this? N scale. Right? So I've got this in N scale, flat car, billboard, but then I've also got this circus train in HO scale. And I don't have it here, but I have Z-scale circus trains, and I have O-scale circus trains. I have S-scale circus trains, and I have G-scale circus trains. So I have these different scales, probably more because I'm obsessed with the circus than I am obsessed with model railroading. I think Ray's got his HO thing, and he loves, working on the layout and stuff. And I think for me, a lot of it's about kind of collecting things that make me really happy. And the circus stuff just makes me happy. And these GG1s just kind of make me happy. So that's it. I want to say, Nissy, you bought the correct, well, you definitely came very close to buying the correct DCC controller. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the different scales and the different gauges and so on and so, mainly the scales. You're right, Heath. I mean, it's when you look at it, and of course I've mentioned it in the past. I dabbled in N scale for about 4 years, but once I was able to get to a point where I was actually able to get back to the HO stuff and work with it because I had so much of it. And now I've got this monster.
Yeah.
It's like I said. I mean, I can only imagine what this would have looked like if I would have stayed in N scale.
Oh. Yeah. Right. Well, and let's talk about that a little bit. I initially went to N scale because of the size of my apartment, and it was a good in between HO and between Z scale. So I started off with N, and that was kind of where I was going to go. And what I learned about it is you can run some really long trains with N scale that you can't really run with HO because
Nope.
you can just get so much more into a space. You can get wide radiuses in a space. Even if you've got a 40-foot by 40-foot room, in N scale, just think about the length of trains that you could run. Whereas HO, you can't run as big of trains, but there's definitely a lot more options. That's just a fact of it. And
but we talk about the options, and to be completely honest, I can remember watching the old Dream Plan build. Well, actually, it was before the Dream Plan build. It was actually when Model Railroader first started with their video arm, Combat Video, and they were talking about the different scales, and we're talking in the mid '80s, and even at that point in time, N scale wasn't mainstream yet. It was still kind of pushed to the side. HO and O were where it was. That was the big thing back then. And they were talking about that it was getting that N scale had a growing following, and that stuff was becoming more readily available commercially. You didn't have to scratch build everything. And I look at it nowadays, and it's like it blows my mind the stuff that's out there for N scale. I mean,
it blew my mind. It blew my mind that I could find a Z scale GG1 Blackjack that has almost just as much detail as the HO scale one. That's insane to me. That's just crazy.
And Z scale, and you mentioned that Z scale is kind of like the N scale was back in the 80s. Z scale up until, I don't know, probably 10 years ago was the same way. It just didn't, it was like, oh, that's a neat little novelty. Okay. Until there was a fellow that actually went ahead and designed a layout that would depict a portion of the Swiss Alps.
Mm.
And it was like, they were like, you couldn't do that in any other scale because the scenery would be out of proportion to the actual rail cars. The only way that you could do it was in Z scale. So, what he had was what was that, 25 feet long by 8 feet wide in Z scale. It was in a shipping container.
Yeah, so Tim at CP368 is talking about how N scale can't pull as much as HO and other scales. And while I do think that at one point that was probably very true, I mean, the Kato locomotives that I have, the newer ones, I don't know, man. I would put them up against any of the HO scale locomotives as far as pulling power. And especially with DCC, I can take 3 Kato locomotives and consist them together pretty quickly. And, it's better than I can imagine. But I guess ultimately, and I was going to sort of let us fight for a while, but I figured I'd just throw it out there now, because... why fight the whole time? as they say, it's your railroad. Do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about the different scales, and that I love about what's happened on YouTube too, I feel like there used to be a little bit of a thing where the N scalers and the HO scalers kind of hung out together, and then the O scalers were kind of like pushed off into the corner, and then the O scalers kind of like looked down on the little trains that the HO scalers and the N scalers used, and I think YouTube has leveled that playing field a little bit now, because if I didn't have these trains all next to each other, you couldn't necessarily tell what scale I was modeling, except that I was doing model trains. And for me, I think it's just fun to have the different scales and see the differences in the different scales. And it's Thomas just says no one wants to socialize with the S scalers. And that's why my S scale is still sitting in the box, and I haven't pulled out the box.
It was funny. A couple of years ago, one of the guys that used to work with me, he says, I got something I need you to take a look at. I'm like, all right. So he brings it into work, and it was old S gauge tin plate from the 30s.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, you need to put this away. I ain't touching it. You need to go put that away. So, and then another buddy of mine, like one of the guys I bowl with, he's got an S gauge. He's got a 12 by 12 foot S gauge layout that
wow,
that he had. His dad, they had to take it down because his parents are getting ready to move. And he's just like you, he's in an apartment, so he's been running HO. Yeah. So, but he's waiting for things to kind of settle down, and he's looking to get a house, and he wants to put his S gauge back up. I've actually helped him work on a couple of his pieces because he had issues with them that have been, packed away for years.
I do think, like Adam's saying, he's got an old Marx 027 set from 1943. And like, if you were just an HO scaler, you might never get to sort of experience an 027 set from 1943.
Yep.
I did find this article on Railroad Model Craftsman that I thought was kind of interesting, and it talks about, of course I got to go to the different screen to scroll it, it talked a little bit about the origin of the different major common scales. I know there's a lot more scales than this. This doesn't have T and TT and standard gauges, and doesn't have any of the... I know this is a limited list, but I think it was really interesting to kind of go through and see, G scale was, created in the 1960s, and this was why, and O scale was created at the turn of the century. And then S scale was in the 1930s, HO scale was in the mid-1930s as well, which is half O. So this article was kind of really interesting, and I didn't know N scale didn't come around until 1962. I mean, I guess that makes sense when you think about manufacturing, and Z scale not till 1972, and I guess it does kind of make sense, right? Because you couldn't manufacture those smaller sizes in any sort of reasonable way.
Well, and not to mention the fact that like you said, reliability was the other issue. I mean, you get down nowadays, we've got those micro motors and everything else. I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff. And it's funny, that article that you had up there, if you remember when I was talking about my N gauge, I've actually got some of those postage stamp trains from the 1960s.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was when they came out. That was like the whole marketing thing, is these are postage stamp trains. And Nathan does kind of ask an interesting question. If the smaller scales are harder to build to be prototypical, right? So like if I wanted to make a HO prototypical locomotive, that making it with the same detail in Z scale was harder. And I would say absolutely. I mean, manufacturing tolerances were definitely very different. But then you have O gauge, which I don't know how many O people are watching right now, but I'm curious, why did O gauge happen? Because it's O27 is great, as I said, because of the tight corners. And was that kind of the thing that pushed there to be kind of so much O gauge out there. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't know there was anything besides O27 because that's just what my dad had.
I mean, from what I remember, because they actually, the Dream Plan build, they actually did a segment where they talked about Joshua Lionel Cohen and how he started Lionel. And originally it was started out as standard gauge, which was an interesting proposition because there was no such a thing, and he was basically making everybody else conform to him.
Yeah.
And then I guess it was in the teens or the 20s is when the O27 started. Here again, it was designed so that you could run it, in a smaller area. If you actually had to run O gauge at scale, which I've actually seen people do, Laurel Joyner was one of them. And John
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
I mean, the corners alone. I mean, he was talking about Laurel Joyner, who passed away a few years ago. He modeled downtown San Antonio, Texas, in 1950. I think it was like 1957. There was a 72-inch radius that circled the yard in O scale.
Yeah.
I mean, it was mind blowing. I mean, he actually had a 50 by 60 foot room that layout sat in. It was purpose built for it.
Well, interesting you mentioned that because I follow one channel, Tim. I think it's called Tim's Trains and Things. It used to be FMR Railroad, then it was Island Scenics. Now I believe it's Tim's Trains and Things. But when it was at FMR Railroad, he was doing O scale as his garden layout instead of G scale, just because O scale can kind of be that big to some extent. But yeah, I mean, if we go back to and this is going to cover you up for a second, but this office drawing that I did, the pink loop that you see underneath is HO scale. And you can see the O scale, which is the dark blue. So the light blue is G, the really dark blue is O, and that sort of pink is HO. But you can see the difference in the radiuses. I mean, that's a 22-inch radius on the HO scale because I wanted to be able to run the GG1s. And on the O scale, I believe that's O36. Again, because I wanted to run the O gauge GG1. And it's just kind of the difference in the way they're made and stuff really lends to, if you're into operations, it lends to different operations because you could make, tighter corners and tighter turnouts and all that kind of things as well. So I do think it's really interesting. That's a little too detailed. Let's see, I don't know what Tim's referring to being too detailed. Oh, he's talking about, I don't know if you saw this comment from Dwayne's Fork and Spoon, an N-scale building with water and a roll of toilet paper in the toilet. That's wow. Yeah, exactly. Daniel says you can run some open frame O scale and it shouldn't care too much about being outside. Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know that. I do know the LGB set that I had is designed to be run outside. So that's intentionally how it's set up or built. But yeah, I would love one day to be able to have an outdoor garden. So okay, Ray, share. What'd you go off to get, Ray?
Well, I was gonna say that's one of the things I was looking at with my backyard when I first bought the house. I've got this great basement, but I've also got this huge backyard. I'm like, man, I could go ahead and get in I could get in the garden railroad. No, the wife would kill me.
But
yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
But if it could be a group thing where she does the garden and you put the railroad, Split Rock brings up something interesting as well is battery power, and G scale is going to dead rail pretty quickly because then you don't need to worry about how dirty your track is. But getting the amount of batteries into a N scale or Z scale locomotive to run that thing just isn't possible right now. So that's kind of another reason too. If you're into something like dead rail, maybe that's the thing to do, is to go with a larger scale. I mean, this the GG1, this O gauge GG1 that I have, when I opened it up, I was actually shocked how much space there was inside of it, because I'm so used to opening up these N scale locomotives where there's no space inside of it. But it, yeah. So dead rail's interesting. I would love to see dead rail come down a bit, especially on the sort of keep alive level. At least to have some sort of battery support to help N scale stuff through a dead spot. But right now, my understanding is it's mostly, G scalers doing that, and they're not doing it. They're doing it so they don't have to clean their track for the most part. It's my understanding.
Yeah, that was. I was going to say that was one of the things I remember, and there was one person that actually has a G scale, and this is another one of those ones that was on the Dream Plan build. Was he had originally electrically wired up something close to 70 some switches, turnouts outside, and within the first year lost half of them because of the weather.
Because yeah.
So when he turned around, he found that from a buddy of his. He's like, just go out and get some surgical tube. He says, all mine are powered by air. He had an air compressor sitting off to the side, and just like, we would do with our airbrushes and stuff, you change a turnout, you flip a switch, and it air powered it. That, which was a neat idea. I'm like, wow, that's okay. That's different. Would have never thought of that.
Absolutely. If you're enjoying this conversation, please hit the thumbs up button. It really helps just sort of keep people finding this stuff. And I actually was watching another channel the other day, and there was a model railroader with like 800 some subs that I'd never heard of before. So if we keep, commenting on people's videos, giving thumbs up, it helps people find other people's videos, as well as going, and if you see somebody and you haven't subscribed to their channel, go check their channel out as well, because it definitely helps. Bill wants to know what scale you're modeling, Ray.
I model HO. I'm right now the monster back there. That's HO scale. It's 34 feet down the length, which is kind of up against the wall, and then it's 8 feet on the side that you can't see, and it's 5.5 feet or 5 feet over my shoulder. This section here is 5 feet deep. It's actually divided in I wouldn't say in half, but it's 3 feet on the front and then 2 feet on the back side of the backdrop.
Yeah, if you check out Ray's channel
over here, there's what will be two hidden yards. Well, there's 2 hidden yards there now. They're just not hidden.
You're talking about the ones behind the middle posts.
Actually, they're wood posts up this end. They're metal posts down the other end.
So Ray does do layout updates every week. So if you want to see what he's up to, he actually just did a second level on a city scene about 2 weeks ago. But he does pretty consistently update what he's up to. So yeah, definitely check out.
Just had one come out earlier this evening. Heath one went live at 6 o'clock tonight. So that's the newest one.
I'm already behind again.
Well, no. We were talking about different things, and I may have actually shown this once before. My father had a friend of his that was retired and was pretty much legally blind. And he had gotten a hold of an old Globe lowboy flat car and had hand built the transformer that's sitting on here.
Nice.
And this is all done out of all things, cereal boxes. From back in the 50s, that was all done with a cereal box. So it's I've tried to very carefully keep this thing off to the side. Obviously it doesn't run because it's got the old Tyco hook and loop couplers on it.
Yeah.
But we were talking about that's HO scale. Usually what I do, or what I had done in the past, is I usually park that thing off to the side, out of the way where it won't get hurt. But it's you like you said. I mean, if I had a small space, I probably would have gone ahead and used I would have stayed with the N scale, and who knows where I'd be at with something like that now. But
Yeah, I will say too, not just which scale you do, but I've actually been really enjoying working another word I can't say, modularly. Anyway, because it's given me, a small section to work on and not get so overwhelmed. I mean, I feel like if I had a layout the size of yours, I would get so overwhelmed by the amount of work that I have to do that I wouldn't know where to start. And by sort of working module through module, it makes it a little bit easier to keep a little bit of a flow going, at least for me.
to be honest, I think if I had to if I had to do it again, I probably would do exactly that. I would break this thing into modules. I mean, even though if you go back and watch when I started building this thing in 2019, it literally is it's a adaptation that off of what Model Railroader and Lynn Westcott built years ago. It's built off of the old girder bench work, but the decking is literally what you would find on a modular layout. It's all 2x4s or 1x3s.
Yep.
And they just sit on top of the old girders. It's easy to break down. It's easy to move. If I had to take it apart again, which, that's when I moved into this house, I had to take it apart. But,
But like you said, though, you repurposed some of the sections, some of the plywood and stuff that's there were sections from your old layout that you were able to kind of save and re-put together in this different configuration. I do want to answer Nathan's question. Nathan, I do actually have an Amtrak GG1, as well as having an Amtrak GG1. I do already actually have HO Amtrak cars. Oh, and I just realized I do have N-scale Amtrak cars as well. I think all of my passenger stuff, except for 3 O-scale Pennsylvania passenger cars, were from the mid-'80s, I guess. So they're all Athearn Blue Box passenger cars. And I've got a couple different sets in that. Real quick, Container Man, because you were late and couldn't show up on time, you missed my earlier unboxing. In honor of you, I got a truck with a red tractor. It is Ringling Brothers, which I know you've probably never pulled a Ringling Brothers trailer, but I thought, red truck, and at least the circus fits my motif. It was a little bit in your honor. Davian SF, L Girder is a great system. Yeah, if I could, I would buy like 8020, I think it is, has like extruded aluminum pieces that all just bolt together and stuff. And if I had the money, I'd probably do that, but I'm probably just going to do 1x3s because it's cheaper. Well, actually, used to be cheaper. Wood these days.
Well, yeah.
In 3 or 4 months, when I get to building it, who knows if I'm going to be able to afford a 1x3. It might be cheaper to buy aluminum.
I went to one of the stores yesterday, and I've got a piece of masonite sitting up there. It's 2 foot by 4 foot, and the darn thing was $5.
Yeah,
and it's 1/8 inch. It's like good, like what? Yeah. So yeah, the wood's getting it. Well, and if anybody had seen it, the L girder that's actually up underneath the here was actually cut out of 4x8 sheets of MDF, which is the medium density fiberboard, because it was a lot cheaper to do it that way than what it was to buy the dimensional lumber. But anywho, back to the scales and gauges and and then, to be honest, Heath, you've also got other facets which we're finding out more about now because of the YouTube community. I mean, I remember seeing it in magazines when I was younger, but the American stuff, the European trains, had no idea the compatibility that some of that stuff had with the stuff that we run over here.
It is so cool. Anthony Dodge as an
Yeah.
example, like I never would have seen that stuff if it wasn't for his channel. And through his channel, I've then subscribed to other people that do that type of stuff as well. And it's not just scale. It's various different aspects of this hobby are just it's really incredible to me. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do want to, it's about 10 minutes till. I don't mind running a little bit late, but I do want to do a little bit of a giveaway while we still have a couple people here. So, people have seen these before, but, and I'm actually, here, I'll move these over here now too. I'm making some more, but I haven't finished them yet, but I do have a couple. So what I thought I'd do tonight is, and each contest runs about 5 minutes, so we can talk as we're going through things. But I thought I'd start off with an N scale flat car. Again, it's the Ringling Brothers Billboard flat car, but I've made Humanity Junction branded ones so that you'd have a little bit of my channel on your railroad. So if people are Catnut saying do a GG1 giveaway. This giveaway is for the flat car, not for any of the GG1s. Looks like we got a couple more thumbs up, but there are 42 people watching, so let's see if we can get the thumbs up to like 35. You know, maybe somewhere a little closer to that. But yeah, so what I'm going to do, and every time I've done this, it hasn't worked on the first try. So I'm just warning everybody. That could happen again. But I'm going to hit start. And when I hit start, we'll see a little message pop up in the chat. And let's see, what did I set it at? I set it at flat car N. So it's exclamation point flat car N. So I'm going to click start. And people that are interested in the N scale one, I'll do the HO scale next. But if you want the N scale one, put exclamation point flat car N to enter the raffle. Dackman, there are no O gauge giveaways, but if you want something for the O gauge, the HO one is probably like that's the O gauge one on top of the GG1, so you can kind of, this is an O gauge GG1, you can sort of get a sense of the size of that for O. So I'll do the O gauge ones next. Looks like we got 3 people coming in. Caboose 121, Catnuts is coming in, Bang Got You Junction. If you are typing in the code, you should see a reply back that says something like this, except with your channel name. If you don't see that come back, it probably means that you spelled something wrong. So yeah, so good luck. We'll get that going, and we'll see what happens from there. So Ray, how? I know you're HO now. You mentioned you've done some N scale, but why did you choose HO? Was it for the selection? Was it just because it's what you kind of had?
At the time, I guess I got to go backwards a little bit. When I went into right before I went into the service, my dad and I had put together, and it had been up for a little bit, 2 4x8s and a 2x5, and it was all HO scale. While I was in the service, I started buying more parts, especially while I was overseas, because I could go ahead and I could get this. Actually, I picked up a bunch of stuff before I went overseas. And I literally was, while we were in the Gulf, when I wasn't on duty, I'm sitting there building, flat cars and coil cars and box cars. And I shipped the stuff back home when we got back to port. And my parents had just moved. And I was like, you know what? I've got an idea. So I sat there and I came up with a track plan for the house that they were in, had everything laid out. And then the family started having problems. It was the mid '90s were not kind to my family. Let's just put it that way. I mean, if anybody's watched the channel, you really know the backstory. But I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, we had a bunch of stuff, and my wife and I, when we got married, we moved into our first house, and my daughter was born. And that first Christmas, I brought the HO stuff over. Well, in between that time, I had the N gauge that came from my grandparents and my great grandparents. But the only reason why I was doing that is because the HO gauge stuff HO scale stuff was buried in the basement under everybody else's stuff. And I only had a small space to deal with. I only had an area that was 3 foot by 6 foot. It was a bed.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have that much stuff in the N scale at that point. And not only that, but when I did start buying stuff for the N scale back in the mid '90s, I realized how expensive it was compared to the HO. It was actually, there was an actual difference in price between the HO scale and N scale back, in the mid '90s. Mainly because it just didn't have the following. But I mean, it's then, like I said, after we got our first house and my daughter saw what I had with the HO stuff, I was like, yeah, I've got to keep the HO going, and I've just dealt with it ever since. So,
yeah, awesome. 50 seconds left, and Marty, thank you so much for becoming a member. And so, Nathan, my big goal, my big planned goal, is that I will have an N scale circus layout and the Z scale, and I have some of the same exact cars in Z scale. 30 seconds that I have in N scale. I am going to have the N scale go into a mountain, and then the same Z scale will come out of the mountain on the other side, make a loop, come back into that mountain, and then the N scale will be coming back out the other way. So that is the goal eventually. So yeah, 5 seconds. Let's get on that and see what happens. I tried N scale once upon a time, but my fingers were the same length, width, and height, so it didn't work. That's funny. That's good. I like that. And we were talking a little earlier in the chat about some of the Japanese trains. Here on the East Coast, Northeast Coast, we have some Greenberg train shows, and there is a guy that has a small Japanese modular-esque layout that he brings to all the Greenberg shows in the area. And it's really great that he brings them because we do get to see some of that Japanese style and the Japanese modeling, which is different. But they do really well. They do a good job with. It's just different. It's just really cool to see. So let's go see. We've got 16 entries here. So I am going to hit the pick a winner button.
Oh, you're not going to get John to count them down?
No, is John? Hey, John, John, are you available to? Okay, so John is in the chat. John, can you come out here and I'll say the name and you can count them off one at a time. Yeah, the bullet trains are cool, and that's. I don't know if the ICE trains that Anthony does are technically the same as the bullet trains, but I love that sort of the TGV high-speed train look. I do think that's really awesome. Robert, thanks for bringing the donuts. Really appreciate it. Being the guy that came in late. So someone had to bring the donuts. And looks like Roy's in the house, made it home from the Railroad Museum, was listening to the show on the drive home. Glad you got the Amazon wishlist stuff. Yeah, the Amazon wishlist thing worked flawlessly, and it was really great to get those things because I really needed more of those little two-way things, and that Excel saw like it's something I wanted for a while. So let's see, a bunch of people saying hello. Yeah, I'd love to find some Japanese trains and British trains. eBay, I hate to say it, that's kind of the place. But let's pick the winner, and then we'll do a little HO scale. Cat Nuts Southern Yankee Railroad won the N scale. So I believe Catnut's first name is Michael, if I'm not mistaken. So, Michael, send me your information on the. What are you doing over there, Ray? Are you stirring your iced tea?
No, that was that noisemaker again.
Oh, it was. I was like, what the heck is that sound? That's too funny. Too funny. Catnuts, hit me up. I think you have my email or wherever. Send me your address and I'll get that out. And if people want, we'll roll right into. We'll do the HO scale, which is this looking fella, and I will put together. It'll come with one of these Walther's flat cars. I know Frank Steelerfan's gotten one, and those kind of things. But yeah, so we'll do HO next, and you can kind of. Oh, as I almost knocked the train off. You can sort of see the size difference here between the HO and the N. So they're kind of to scale. It kind of worked out pretty well. Yeah. Oh, hey, Maine Coast Rail fan. I haven't seen you in here yet. Yeah, yard sales are also good. They just did a swap meet too. If you haven't seen, Dakman just did a video of a swap meet that happened in our area, and there was some really cool old train things. So that definitely something interesting to check out. So let me go over here, complete this one, change the settings so that we've got a different thing. So we'll do flat car HO on this one, and I'm just going to jump right in and start the HO giveaway, and go from there. So it should be started. Got nuts. I'm not the last one. Yeah, Rick Bailey's coming in a little late on tonight's stream, but you know I'm probably hanging with family, so I can't blame him too much. So here we are, exclamation point, flat car HO. We'll get you the Humanity Junction HO scale billboard with an HO scale flat car, and let me just scroll this down a little bit so we can see how many people we're getting in here. Mike's heading out. See you later, Mike. Thanks for coming. Much appreciated. So what, Ray, you got any questions for me about my insanity of scales?
The only thing I can say, Heath, is you've certainly taken something that I had and ran with it.
There was something, you know what it almost was too? You had such passion. You had such passion for the GG1, especially the blackjack, that your obsession with it almost became an obsession of mine. And being able to get you one for the holidays that didn't come until February, another story. It was really amazing for us. And you know, I live on the Northeast Quarter, and yes, circus is still like my focus. I still definitely, love that, and that's what my layout's going to be based around. But also at the end of the day, those GG1s look damn sexy, even without a catenary system.
Right.
They look darn sexy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, even the E33s and some of the ELPs, and there's a couple other of the electrics that came out in the 30s, 40s, 50s, in that transition era when diesels really hadn't come into their own yet.
Right.
And the big cities just didn't want they weren't happy with all the steam. I mean, you take a look at, even Philadelphia, downtown Baltimore, downtown New York, the train station, Union Station, sits smack dab in the middle of the city. And most of those train stations, the tracks come in underground. So that's all got to go someplace.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
The reason why the electrics became such a big thing, especially in the Northeast Corridor where things were so tight. You needed something to get the fumes away. And it's the same
and going in and
problem.
out of New York City, right? I mean, you need to have the electrics coming in through the tunnels, because if
Yeah.
you were running diesel in those tunnels, everyone in the passenger cars behind you would be passed out by the time you.
By the time they got through it, right? And it was the
Yeah,
same issue that they were having out west, up in the Northwest and all, with the tunnels, the Moffat Tunnel, and so on and so forth. When they, they had, that's the reason why the Southern Pacific ran with the cab forward. Which was great for the engineers. Which was
'cause
great
it
for
went
the
the other
engineers.
way.
But
We didn't
you
realize
still
that,
had
yeah.
the problem. You had all the passengers behind you.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so that's.
I will say there are a lot of companies out there that aren't exactly focused on their customers all the time. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's sometimes a downfall of companies, but yeah.
But that was the reason. So I mean, it's like I said. I just remember growing up and where and used to that one little rail fanning
1
tour,
minute
which
left.
I didn't catch any trains that day. But you kind of got an idea of where I grew up, Martin State Airport. That's where the Northeast Corridor went through, and we passed that every time that we went down to my dad's boat. And there was a couple times I can remember being a kid, we'd stop to watch the trains go by. So, and what was pulling those trains back in the 70s? That was the GG1 that was pulling those trains back in the 70s. At that
I
point,
wish as a kid I would have seen one. I never got to see a GG1 in person. I am hoping that I get out to Strasbourg to see the one out there in person, because I think that'll be. I'll bring one of each of my scale of mine, and then there's two out there.
Yeah.
40, oh right, they've got the 4800 and the
blackjack. Yep.
The blackjack. Yep. Tim from CP368 says cab forwards were a freight locomotive, so that they didn't care about passengers.
Yeah, but that was the reason why they ran them cab forward, was because of the steam, because of the wood burning behind them. But yeah, I get what you're saying. No, I know they didn't use them for passenger service, but that was the reason why they turned them around, though, because otherwise they would asphyxiate the crew.
So while we're picking the winner for the HO scale flat car, PK&W's asking the question that I didn't really want to ask tonight, but just for fun, in the chat, and I'll let Ray answer it as well. Actually, here's what we're gonna do: start in the chat, answering the question, "What is the best scale?" I'm gonna pick a winner on this one. And then I think I'll hold another N scale contest. So we'll give away 2 N scale ones. So I'll get that started, and then we'll let Ray tell everyone what he thinks the best scale is. But let's pick a winner here first. Ken Amos Jr.
Nice.
So Ken. Now it sounds like clapping now that I know what it is. But boy, man, I could not figure out what the heck you were doing the last time. So Ray, what's a good little phrase for the next N scale one? What should we have people need to type in?
Oh, you're really
keep it clean. Keep it clean. I know it's after 9, but come on.
You put me on the spot here. Oh man.
Should we do GG1? We're talking GG1.
Why not? Sure. There we go.
GG1N?
There you go.
Perfect. So let me start this, and then I will put you on the spot. So we said N scale. So, Ray, now that we got this one running, what's the best scale?
Oh, man. You know what? I'm really going to go ahead and deflect this one, because to me, I have to agree with something that I heard years ago, and that is the best scale is the one that you feel the most comfortable modeling in, no matter what the space is that you have. So if you've only got a 9 by 9 foot room, 9 foot by 9 foot room, and you want to see every nut and bolt detail in what you're doing, then yeah, one of the larger scales is going to be for you. But if you want to model a transcontinental in a 9 foot by 9 foot room, then you probably want to go to one of the smaller scales.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. I mean, it's you also have to think, and there was somebody that brought it up earlier, is the size of your fingers the size of your hands? Yeah, this meat hook trying to play around with anything smaller than HO is not going to work very well.
Well, Ray, I mean, it's now I totally forget the question I was going to ask you. It was totally going to put you on the spot too, and now I completely forget. Completely forget. Oh, that's so disappointing. Oh, I was gonna. One thing I noticed is a lot of people in here are saying that N scale is the best scale. I haven't. Thanks for coming, John. One day I'll learn how to pronounce your last name correctly. So sorry for that. But a lot of people are saying N scale. I'm actually pretty surprised. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if you're a politician. Because that answer you gave, man, you could have been a mayor of any city in any town with that answer. You just deflected that it was like, well, it all depends on your room size. You got to check your room size and then compare your room size to your finger size. And once you understand the intricacies of the ratio between room size to finger size, and then you take the square root of that, that'll determine what scale. I tell you, Ray, I tell you.
I do prefer HO.
I will say the amount of GG1s available in HO scale in a lot of fantasy schemes, we'll call them, I guess, a lot more than any other scale. Maybe second to HO is probably the O scale ones, just because those O scale guys are, you know them, right, Dackman? But the HO ones are so interesting, some of the fantasy scales. They've got that Conrail bicentennial, but they also have a 1776 bicentennial that's a different paint scheme, and it's it's really kind of interesting. AGS Railfan is saying N scale is too much money. Have you seen the price of some of the O scale items? I don't
even want to go touch G.
So it's funny, Mr. Pictoven and I, he helped me out with the G-Scale stuff, and I keep sending him links for some G-Scale GG1s that I find, and the cheapest I found was like $1,500, and one I found was like $6,000, and I'm like thinking, like, if I had $6,000, would I buy a G-Scale GG1? 1 minute left to enter. Or would I buy like 600 Z-scale GG1? Like, I mean, like, really, like, what, like, I mean, could you imagine, though, an outdoor garden railroad with a GG1 running off of catenary?
No, that now.
Like, I gotta admit. Oh, yeah, I did forget about the glasses thing. N scale has its appeal, but as my eyesight declines, and it's, people mention, see if I can even get them out of here, but people mention declining eyesight, and this is the, this is the collection of optivisors that I already have. So
I like Dwayne's comment.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of conversations about money these days. It's tough out there, folks. It's an interesting time, that is for sure. So the second N scale giveaway, the entry has closed. That was the N scale one, right?
What are you doing, Miss Emma? Huh?
Oh, staying low.
Huh?
My dog loved, like, when I start getting on conference calls and stuff, my dog comes up because she thinks I'm talking to her, so she brings a ball with her and comes and starts bugging me at my feet.
Well,
but only when I get on conference calls.
There's the Anatolian on that side.
Yeah.
And there's the Australian on that side.
You're flanked. There you go. There you go.
Beethoven
the
to
GG
the right,
one that was
Emma
here
to the
wasn't.
left. Huh?
Oh, Tim, I didn't know that a GG1 could run on just track power. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
that's how mine have been running.
Santa Fe Bob, the thought of putting a $6,000 GG1 outside in the snow itself is crazy. Yeah, right. I mean, $6,000 in N scale, I could have like the whole layout, including the track and, you know. Tyler, one of the younger members here in the chat right now, says he doesn't have any optimizers. Well, can somebody put him in timeout for a little bit for that comment, please?
Heck, I'm an HO and I've still got an optimizer.
I tell you, man, don't get old. Getting old is not for the elderly, or whatever however that statement goes. I mean, man.
You're only as old as you feel. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm 80, but that's beside the point.
I mean, they say 50 is the new 30, right? I'm still waiting to feel like that, but that's what they say.
This half century plus one just isn't working.
Yeah, I'm 2 away from the half, and it's the eyesight gets more and more interesting every year. That's for sure. So let's pick a winner. We got 17 people in here now for the N scale train. You can kind of see as I scroll through all of the names. I love Schuylkill River Valley, an HO scale guy, but getting into the N scale stuff. He's got an N scale layout going now, so I think we do have some converts. But let's pick a winner. New Fenris, Bill.
Nice.
Awesome. That sounds so funny. Oh, that sounded so funny. So, let me clear out of this one. So, do people in the chat, should I do one more HO scale? So we do two HOs and 2 Ns, or should we just do one of the HOs? Let me know.
Well, Lauren, consider the fact that you're related to Heath, and I can understand why.
Oh, come on. I was a good kid. At least half the time. Marty says he'll be at the 50 mark by the end of the month. So, Joe Rader says, wait till you hit 71, right? Because I know he's talking to you, because, I'm sure he's not talking to me. Dave, see you later. Thanks so much for coming. So I don't see any thumbs up or anything yet in the chat about holding another giveaway for the HO scale. So if we don't have any HO scalers here because everybody's converted to N after tonight's conversation, I'm happy to kind of start wrapping things up. So if you want to,
is there a mute button? No,
no, you can't mute me. You cannot mute me. But that said, I could mute you. While we're waiting to see if people in the chat want me to do another contest, Iron Planet Hobbies specializes in DCC. Use the code HUMAN, 10% off. They are really great channel sponsors. Ryan over there has just been a really great supporter of the channel, as well as Eric over at CMR Products. They make desk organizers, as well as the modules that I use are from them. So please definitely go check them out as well. I also want to thank people that are YouTube members. You can click the join button underneath the video and become a YouTube member, or if you're not into the YouTube thing, I am keeping my Patreon open so people can go and be members over on Patreon. Or if you would like, just like what Grandpa Rails just did again, you give a super chat or super sticker as well, and those are also much appreciated as well. And I do want to say thank you guys so much. 40 thumbs up. That's really awesome. Much appreciate that. Anthony's past his bedtime. My Life's Tracks is saying do another one, and Nathan's saying do another one. Catnuts is saying wash your hands. I'm not sure I understand. David Atkins heading off for the night as well. It's not many people are looking. We do have some thumbs up. We got M&M Rouse. We do have Cat Nuts. You already won one tonight. I mean, look at him. He wants another one. He's like, I'll win another one. Sure, like go hold another con. I'm right. Marty, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Really appreciate that. Said, so Heath, I missed the GG1 and what it looks like. Oh, there we go. Let's go here real quick. I can bring up. I've got these pictures of. So this is the GG1s. In the very back is the O gauge GG1. Just in front of its HO scale. The Tuscan red would be the N scale one, and then in the very, very front is Z scale. And I like this picture a little bit better. You can actually see the length of the trains. You'll notice that the HO scale one is actually longer than the O gauge one because it's O gauge, not O scale. It is actually a little bit shorter. But these are the different scales that I have a GG1 in, and big fan of the GG1. Okay, we're getting some more thumbs up. So let's bring this back up. Don't remove it. Don't hit that button. Don't hit that button. Okay, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Hit me up again. So HO scale. I'm thinking we should do something like longer so that it's like people have to think a little bit about what they enter, what they have to enter in. So what's a little bit of a longer?
You want to go maybe, boxcar?
Oh, we're giving away a flat car, not a box car, and we're talking about.
All right, well,
let's do maybe GG1 polling flat car HO. GG1 polling flat car HO. I like it. I'm curious to see, right? Let's make this a little challenging because this will probably, after we do this, I'll probably wind down the stream unless Ray has some dad jokes that he wants to tell. Oh, let's get into this giveaway, and then we'll go back and look at some of the questions in the chat. So giveaway has started. 5 minutes on the clock. Steve Childers. A $5.01 super chat. $2.50 from Jason. $2.51 from Steve, because even without Jason here, he still is trying to outdo Jason. So let's go back. When you're starting a layout, you can take all the help you can get. Absolutely. And that's one thing I love about our community is people helping each other out. A photo on Facebook today had 3 GG1s pulling freight. That's something I learned about GG1s that I also found really interesting is they pulled both freight and passenger.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fairly rare. Barnabas waking up. Jason, welcome. Adam. No, 3-ring circus HO is not the correct phrase. Containerman wants to know how many items in Z scale could you have bought for the cost of the GG1 in O gauge? So this O gauge GG1, the one right here that I've got my finger on right now, you can't really see in that camera, but right here, was $157 on eBay. So this Z scale GG1 was maybe $125 or something like that. So there's not a huge cost difference necessarily between O gauge. It's between O scale. Roy Eltham 502 just to pull it ahead a little bit. Look at this, even Ray getting in. Let's see, did Ray spell it correctly though? Did he spell it correctly? Yes, looks like Ray got its ticket as well. So I found out, if anyone's curious, Anissa prefers Nissi Well, I hope now that I just said that that's for everybody. But Anissa Johnson is going to be doing Nissy's Sea and Air Railroad, I believe, and she just got a t-trak Zephyr today, which I think is pretty cool. Dragon Ball Tech checking in as well. Barnabas still awake, 2:24 a.m. here. Oh, cannot sleep. You cannot sleep, so you came to watch my show because you figured my show was going to be boring and put you to sleep.
What were you thinking, Jason?
I mean, am I just reading into that, or you know? Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Look, people. I think it's pretty. Oh right. She told me this too. It's Nisi, or it's Anissa, or Anissa. So she told me how to pronounce it. Still completely pronouncing it incorrectly.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the things, that Heath, you're right, and everybody that I think that's in here. I mean, we've done an awful lot, especially over the last year, with the challenges that we were faced with, and that we still face even today. Having this online community that has grown exponentially because of what's been going on, and the amount of help that we get from each other, it's incredible. This community is something else, and I'm glad that we're still getting new people in. I mean, that's even bigger.
Yeah, I'm still finding new channels, a year into this showstopper, and I think that's amazing. And yeah, as Schuylkill River Valley points out, at least I'm not calling her Paul. And if people don't understand that, you may need to watch more of my live streams.
Hey, you can call me anything you want, just don't call me late for dinner.
Exactly. So we got 30 seconds left. GG1 pulling flat cart HO with an exclamation point in front of it. So Nisi says, actually, my name is David. So, and if you don't get that joke, you definitely need to go watch some more of my live streams. And Tim, CP368 Productions, who Ray likes to call Chuck.
I should have known that was coming.
Heath, imagine if a train set had annoying orange paint scheme on the train set. Nathan, there is actually a girls GG1 set that Lionel put out that's pink that I actually kind of want. So
good luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pastel train. Yeah. Good luck finding that thing.
There's actually one on eBay right now for like $350. So not ridiculous, just more than the money in my bank account. So that's there's that, of course. Yeah, Nisi, I am gonna call you Paul now. Just that's.
You can call me Al.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy,
too fun. So yeah, so today we talked about different scales. We looked at various different things. We looked at some of my Amazon wish list items. We talked about how I'm still even getting a new space. I'm still basically going to be in a small little area. We looked at some GG1s. We said thank you to a bunch of people. We heard some dad jokes from Ray. And now I think we're going to pick a winner. And then we're going to start winding this down with maybe a soothing lullaby that Ray will grace us with.
You don't want me singing.
A little bit of his melodic voice it's like 20 people just left the second I said Ray was going to sing.
I don't blame him.
Don't worry, people. If you're missing Ray singing, you can come back later and watch it on the replay. So somebody is asking, would I get a GG1? Where is it?
Oh,
Would I get a
boy.
GG1 if it had SpongeBob on it? I don't know about SpongeBob, but maybe. Damn, Adam is throwing down. Throwing Ken's name out there. Chuck, also known as Tim, says that he doesn't need nightmares from your singing. Well,
Randall.
now that we're giving people some nightmares, let's pick a winner and see who's gonna get the last win of the night. Maine Coast Rail Fan.
Nice.
Yeah, so Maine Coast, reach out to me. Email is on my About page on Facebook, and send me your address. And anybody, if you want to reach out about stuff, you can find me on. Are you like getting ready to sing, Ray? I don't know.
I was just reading the comments down here. Split Rock mainly.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
I feel like its first prize is the flat car. Last prize is Ray singing, which. Tim says my former voice teacher would raise from the grave. Yeah, so Maine Coast, send me an email. Also, if people want to find me, send me an email. I love talking tech. I love helping people that, if you want to stream or want to start doing videos and you're not sure how to get into it, reach out to me. I love talking about this stuff. I love helping people. Correct. I can't believe people took their thumbs up away. I just realized I'm like giving this whole thing and I'm still on the wrong thing. Container Man's gonna sing for us apparently. He says he sounds like a frog today.
Kermit?
I love Kermit singing the Rainbow Connection. I'm gonna admit it. I'm admitting it right now, and it's 9:31 p.m. at night, and I'm admitting it. Kermit singing the Rainbow Connection is probably one of my favorite renditions of that song, if not just that song as well. My Life Tracks thinks that Ray has a little bit of Sinatra in him.
Yeah, okay. I start singing, the dogs start howling.
So James is asking about Modeling Monday. I send out the Modeling Monday emails at about 2 o'clock on Mondays. My feeling are that I should say I have a very short attention span. So I know if I got an email a day early, I'd never be able to find it by the time we got to Monday. So I feel like 2 o'clock gives people enough time to not completely lose the email. If you want to join in on screen on Modeling Monday, email me. The email address is going to come across the bottom of the screen. Modeling Monday, if you don't know, group modeling, we just get together, we chat, not quite as freely as this, not quite as derailed as this, but sometimes we go a bit off the track. But we get together and model, talk about different techniques. Different people come up, they show their different methods and stuff. So that's Modeling Monday. That's what James from Boulder Creek is asking about. James, did you ever meet up with Otter Valley this weekend? I'm kind of curious about that. Oh boy, did you see Steve Childers' comment? Is that the one you're laughing about?
Which one? I mean, there's a couple of them in there. I think that one there was probably the first.
Steve Childers, this stream is going to the frogs. And Tyler wants to see your Elvis impersonation. Randall Ellison is looking for a steel cage death match, which I would definitely lose. Okay, I have Gmail and their search is so bad. Yeah, I mean, if that email is not one of the last ones I get, I'm having trouble. Apparently, you remind Randall of The Undertaker. Yeah. So, can you add Ray singing to a sound decoder?
Now they're really getting off track.
All right.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Just, everyone watches Heath masks a building for 2 hours. Yeah, funny you say that. So what am I going to do on Monday? I don't know yet. I have absolutely no idea. I kind of got to clean all this off, and then I'm gonna try and like finish. When I say finish, I mean like finish the physical structure of it, and then hopefully in 2 weeks do the weathering. If I don't get it finished on Modeling Monday, what I'll probably do is just work on it throughout the week, so that then next Monday I can do some weathering on it. Trying to model and moderate the chat and deal with certain people that don't mute themselves when they make a lot of noise sometimes can get a little bit tricky. So that's kind of the plan. Hopefully Lynn might join us for Modeling Monday. If you haven't seen Lynn's layout, Lynn's got some cool stuff going on in his layout. Lynn over on Facebook.
I was just replying back to Steve's comment. That's
Oh, gotcha. I don't know that would improve anything with Jason's sheep car. That's kind of the problem. Let's see, Nathan with a good question. Heath, which rather would you like, a train set with SpongeBob or an annoying orange train set? Definitely orange. I'm not. So, Cross Anchors Railroad, Mike definitely loves the orange. So I think he's definitely the orange guy. If I had to pick a color, it'd actually probably be red. Red's probably my favorite. Now, not KCS red. I don't know if Robert Flying Crow is still here, but I'm not going KCS red. Let's just get that out there. But red, I think, would probably be my favorite color. And it is kind of one of the Ringling Brothers colors also, is the red as well. Modeling on recorded video is also distracting. Yeah, that's true. As well, trying to keep things in frame. I'm gonna start calling him Chuck just because he's giving you such a hard time, Ray. So Edward asks a great question, and man, I would love to do that. I actually took some pictures of. I didn't load them up, but I took some pictures of the Z-Scale GG1 on top of the O-Gauge GG1, and it's just hilarious. And of course, Steve's blaming me for his inability to mute his mic. Catnuts is up for the Budweiser red. Absolutely. Flying Crow says, shame on you. Hey, KCS is out, man. CP is in, so. Robert's trying to remove me from my own channel. See, Robert, there's a reason you're not a moderator. So My Life Tracks would like Ray to end the show by singing a little My Way. I think the Frank Sinatra, I'm assuming the whole like Frank Sinatra thing.
I don't know who the heck they've seen.
Randall says, now I'm envisioning Ray in an old Havoline commercial where he's the member of that rock band. It comes out, and every time they get older and their fan base keeps shrinking. Oh, boy. Man, people are just coming out with all different reds. Too funny, the Solo Cup red. That's a good one. I like that one. Flying Crow says, never. Come on. I'm going to say it here. I bet you in 2 years, Flying Crow is going to have all of his KCS locomotives rebranded with the CP.
Oh boy.
Heath, what time does your mail come on Monday? Lynn, it really depends. UPS generally comes the latest. USPS usually comes a little bit earlier. It's been weird lately. The last couple weeks, it's been really weird when stuff comes and when stuff doesn't. So it looks like Flying Crow's going to take the other side of that bet. He thinks that no, he is not. But
If you send something to me via USPS, it'll get here next month.
No, Ray. Not next month. 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah, it was 2 months.
It was insane how long it took. That was just crazy. Roy's got a little problem with his face, it seems like.
Well, see, Heath's first mistake was inviting me up here, but no.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Amazon's mixed. So Amazon's interesting here in New York. Sometimes Amazon comes USPS. Sometimes Amazon comes out of their Staten Island warehouse, and they basically, have contracted drivers that drive it over. So if people don't know, I'm guessing what Lynn is saying is that Lynn went and checked out my Amazon wish list, flameheath.support. These are just things that I'm looking to try and get to help with modeling. Some of them are just sort of fun little things too, like that look out for trains danger sign. And there's some other, fun items in there as well. But that's basically the gist of it. Container Man, my KCS is staying as it is for now. Oh, he's got the Bell paint scheme. Yeah, that is a cool paint scheme. Most of my KC units will be gray. No comment. Lynn, thank you so much. Really appreciate all your support. Lynn is a YouTube channel member, but he's also been supporting a lot of other ways as well, which is really, really appreciated. Thomas says, I like the KCS paint scheme, but no way am I modeling those striped handrails. That's funny. I can't. Robert, did you paint the handrails? Did you stripe them? I can't remember now. Now I want to go back and look. I can't remember. So Container Man's saying, I don't see a brain on the Amazon wish list. So here's the reality about that, right? I don't need a new brain. You guys just want me to have a new brain. I think the rock pile in my head that is called a brain is just fine how it is. So, it's could go either way. And now people are laughing at Container Man's joke. Not funny, Container Man. Not funny. Ken, congrats on winning. Definitely hit me up with your email at some point. And 4 a.m., man. Better you than me. I'm definitely a late night person, not an early morning person. 4 a.m. for me usually comes around on the nighttime side, not on the morning. Well, not completely true. Sometimes it comes around on both sides, which is never a good day, but sometimes. Let's see, Nathan, Heath, would you rather like to have a GG1 be painting with your YouTube channel paint scheme? Oh, definitely. I mean,
that would be wild.
That would be. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I think Nathan might have a good idea here. Maybe I should just take one of these stickers. Maybe I can just put a big sticker on the side of that GG1.
Patch out the Pennsylvania for Humanity Junction.
Nathan, I like where you're going with this. There are actually some cheaper Lionel. There's like a shell on eBay for like $35. That's an unpainted shell. Maybe that might be fun. I don't think I'd buy a whole locomotive and do it, but maybe just the shell. So Robert says they're easy. Microscale sells a decal for the handrails. Oh, that's pretty cool. No new girlfriend that likes trains on that list either. She likes the trains, but she likes the trains if I'm doing them not in our kitchen. Which I can't blame her. When
it's not a dinner train?
I would love that. That would actually be really awesome. I just got my first KCS stuff. Oh, cool. Oh, there you go. Picking up more stuff outside of UP and BNSF. Yeah, KCS would make sense, because it is closer to that. The other side of the U.S., the wrong side of the U.S., as opposed to the right side. Let's see. Bye for now. People are starting to take off. Let's see. My rock pole brain is never fine. Yeah, exactly. He's saying, I think what he meant to say is my rock pile brain, not his rock pole brain, but he may have been making fun of your metal poles, Ray. So it may have been like a little bit of a
Dude, touche. It's a double-edged sword there, eh?
Chuck is saying 4 a.m. is meant to be stayed up to, not woken up to, and I could not agree more. Lynn is on the wrong coast as well, aka the West Coast, so it's only 6:42. Has the sun set? I bet you the sun's still up.
The sun's probably... But we can ask Grandpa Rails about that, too. I bet you the sun's still way up.
Steve Childers,
Steve, you're retired.
Bedtime. I know. But he's also old, Ray. He's old,
yeah,
so that's, he's got that, gotta have that early bedtime. Mrs. just walked by. She says, Heath must be in New York. He sounds like my family. I don't think I really have a New York accent, do I? And see Rail Fans feel rap. Yeah, I don't think I would actually do it to this guy, but yeah, Adam's saying the sun just set out there. Oh, interesting.
No,
Adam's
the
saying
sun's still out.
Set.
Lynn and Grandpa were saying the sun's still up, so.
Oh yeah, Grandma. I got on a Grandpa Rails live stream once, and I think it was 9:00 here, and dark as can be out, and Grandpa Rails opens up the garage door, and it's just like blinding sun, and I'm like, oh, this is going wrong. It's like, what's going on? Rich is checking in. Rich, you finally caught one because it's 9:45, and this was going to be an hour stream that started at 7, 8. What time is? I don't even know when it started. Yeah, I've lost complete track.
They start at 8.
They start at 8. Steve, why do you wake up at 4 a.m. when you're retired?
Well, that's because down in Florida, though, they wake up early so that they can beat the heat. So they get like 3 or 4 hours before it gets too hot, and then they take an afternoon siesta, and then they wake back up again, and when it's cooler, and it's.
Now you remind me why I don't live in Florida. My Life Tracks asks a great question. Is anyone doing anything special for Amtrak's 50th birthday on May 1st? Man, there are some cool 50th anniversary paint schemes that Amtrak came out with. I don't know what day of the week is May 1st. I don't know if anybody's doing anything or not. That would be pretty interesting. Edward getting in on it as well. I don't see a miracle available on Amazon. I guess my question is, what miracle do you feel like I would need?
Well, May 1st isn't a Sunday; it's a Saturday. So, and that would have been John number 2 anyway. So he's off the hook on that one.
Although John's a Pennsylvania guy, so maybe he will do something.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe he will do something for it.
Yeah.
Roy says he stays up to 4 a.m. also. I'm trying to get to bed by midnight, but sometimes I'm so wired that I go to bed at 2. My girlfriend though wakes up at 5:30. She's a morning person, so it sometimes it works out great though, because she wakes up and watches TV and does her thing in the morning, and then I come out and annoy her, and then
Was it that obvious, John?
I'm starting to feel like we're picking on the girlfriend. The girlfriend's amazing. The girlfriend's absolutely amazing. It's
Yeah.
It's just it's easy because she's not here to pick on her, right? So. Oh, I didn't know that. In Alaska, it's only 5:46.
Yeah.
So I thought Alaska was on California time, but apparently,
Nope.
apparently it's not.
No, they're on. Oh, what the heck? They're actually on. They've got their own time zone.
I don't know that I knew that. Bernard, man, up at 3:30 a.m. airport best time to fly. I always schedule my flights in the afternoon because I just don't. Mm-hmm. Oh, Adam's in the southeast side of Denver. That's why the sun's down where there. The sun sets on Heath's Empire. Then the sun never sets. Steve says he gets up. Oh no, he's saying he eats dinner at 4 p.m., which is the blue plate special. I actually live. I live in the second tallest building on Riverside Drive, so I'm actually pretty high up. It's actually kind of nice. We get really good morning sun. Rich from Trains and Things K&R Custom Model says, yeah, not a huge Amtrak fan, but the 50th paint is cool. Yeah, it really is. It really is cool. Thomas Splitrock says, if I'm up at 4 a.m., it means I'm on a train. But are you does your schedule like, do you not have any schedule? Like, is it just like they say, okay, tomorrow you're working at whatever, and you have to get up, and that's Container Man too. Like, I work theater, live events, and stuff. If I had to be up at 4 a.m., I was up at 4 a.m. But only if someone was paying me.
I get woken up all the time in the night, so.
Yeah. Edward says a miracle for more room. Yeah. So the plan for the space, which kind of is how I'm going to get the more room, is I'm going to go vertical. The ceiling is actually, I think it's 11 feet in the room. So even if I put this layout, I'm thinking this layout would be maybe 42 inches high, so like 3.5 feet, which then gives me a lot of wall space. What I might do, one idea that I have is above the layout on that right wall in the drawing, I'm thinking I may do an HO switching layout instead of the loop around the ceiling. I'm more of a run by, like a rail fanning kind of guy. Like that's kind of what I like. So I would like my layouts to have a loop, but I'm getting more into operations. So I think it would be kind of neat to do, to have the loop stuff, but also have some sort of switching layout as well. But sometimes does this live stream at 11:30 a.m. and I have to set an alarm on Fridays. You do, Tim, but 11:30 is not early, is it? I mean, you wake up at 10, eat breakfast, relax. I don't think 10 o'clock's fine for me.
By 11 o'clock, I've already been up for 3.5 hours.
I'll tell you, man, if the dog didn't wake me up every morning at 7:30 because she had to go to the bathroom, and probably sleep right through that. Heath lives kind of like the Who song. I can see for miles and miles. Yes, absolutely. Container Man, it depends when I go to bed. If it's 8 p.m., I could start driving at 6. Consider if I'm on the West Coast, 2-hour difference for me. So 8 p.m. is 6 a.m., but yeah. That's a good point. I used to do a bunch of work in California, so I'd fly out to California, and I would try and stay as much as possible on East Coast time. So I would never try and, I'd try and be up by 6 a.m. minimum, which made it, getting to site by 8 was a lot easier when on the West Coast than getting to site at 8 on this coast. Yeah, Adam, that's, the dogs are the ones that would get me up. Tim says he usually wakes up at 1 p.m. and eats breakfast after I wake up at 2. Yeah, I'm not quite that much of a night person, but I'm definitely get there. It's a good question about electronic logbooks. Part of what I did when I was doing the project management for live events was I'd have to coordinate the driving. And sometimes the trucks from Las Vegas back to California, you'd have to time the trucks out right so that they could leave the site in Vegas, get to California, and unload all in one, run without having to do the dinner break. And with the e-logs, that became a little bit harder. But Container Man's got the e-logs, and I'm sure he's got tricks to make sure that he's, hitting all of his time, requirements and stuff. But that's definitely changed trucking, the e-logs, that's for sure. If people don't know what we're talking about, just because there may be somebody, e-logs is a new system that basically monitors the truck and knows when it's in motion and knows when it's stopped, and you have to log in your information, and you can only drive a certain amount of hours and all that kind of stuff. And Container Man can probably explain it much better than I can. Edward, if you want to live stream at 6 o'clock, I don't know where you're located, but Donegal Dad does a live stream that's usually at 9 a.m. my time, which if you're on the West Coast, that's probably 6 a.m. your time, but Donegal Dad's in the UK. So there are early live streams in the UK if that's something you want to do. Did you just turn a fan on, Ray?
No.
I hear a little noise in the background. The PTC shuts us down at 12 hours no matter what, but I've been known to turn it off to drag a train into a siding before we die. Yep. Yes, it does. Yep. Yeah, I actually love. It's one thing I love about my phone is you get on the plane and you turn your phone off, and then you land in California and you turn your phone back on, and it shows the correct time because it automatically. Yeah, it is more control. Well, at least Containerman's not an Amazon driver, but that's I shouldn't have even said it. I know. I shouldn't have said it. I did say it. So Thomas Splitrock says, I like this portion of your show. I'm learning everyone's real names. It can be kind of hard, like like you see CP368 pop up, and there's a CDP 1965, and sometimes you look at the name and you you think, oh, that's Chuck, and no, it's Tim. I do try and say the person's name and their channel name, and that's something that Sparky taught me, because if you have somebody new on your channel, they might not know who those people are. So by saying their name and their channel name, I like knowing people's first names. I think it builds a relatedness. But for new people, it helps when you also say their channel name. So that was kind of. Tim says PTC actually works somewhere. That's unheard of. Steve says it's obviously him, the noise, so I need to work on muting him. Yeah, I used to love that phrase. Works is a relative term.
Who's relative?
Not yours, because if we know it yours, it ain't working. Lynn, wife is reminding me twice that dinner is ready. See you in the morning. Lynn, I'm not going to be on in the morning. I will see you at 3 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock my time. I will not be here in the morning. Mine is easy. Pictures the same for YouTube and Facebook. And yeah, I try and keep the pictures somewhat the same, or at least make them, figure them out. Robert from Flying Crow, also known as, I don't know, I was going to come up with some other name, but
you had no hair to catch it.
The key I found is that every time you see the person's name pop up, like say their first name with their channel name, and then it starts sinking in. But like people like Nisi, I'll probably always pronounce her name wrong. People like Dave P, I will probably always call Paul, even though his name is his channel name. Oh, Edward's saying if you would do a 6 live stream for the European audience. Now, there's people over in the UK doing that kind of stuff. I don't. I can't get into that. Everyone hasn't learned my real name yet, but then again, if they did, Heath might get demonetized. Interesting point Randall makes too is some people don't use their full name. Some people do now know my full name because my dad comes on here with his full name, but for a long time I never said my last name, because if you look me up, unfortunately all my information's out there. So what are you gonna do? I think the profile picture for my railroad photography page is also the same. Nisi, thanks for coming. She said goodnight like an hour ago, but she can't stop watching. Nisi, welcome to the Nut House. You're now officially a member. You're welcome to join anytime. Oh, so Lynn's wife says, sorry, she thought you were finished. So are you telling me that your wife is okay letting dinner get cold because you're on here yakking with a bunch of yokels? Is this what I'm hearing? Nisi, it means you've been sidetracked like the rest of us. Yeah. I think sidetracked Sunday's fun, man. We do have a Monday, traditionally the start of the week. You gotta, I think, just let it go a little bit. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Nice, Lynn. Nice. Too good. Heath's String Ring Circus.
It's more than just Heath's.
There are a lot of monkeys in this circus, let me tell you. Thomas is correct, man. That's part of what I love about Modeling Mondays is yes, we all learn, but also when mistakes happen and stuff, it is kind of fun to like watch watch for it. Lynn says, I thought for a long time your name was Blame Heath. Some people
Still do.
think so.
And we still do.
Yeah, it's probably yeah. The rest of us are clowns. I should not admit this either, but clowning is a art form that I actually really like. I think as far as like a performance, as far as acting, like you look at a guy like Bill Irwin, just amazing clown, and he does some character work on shows like Law and Order. He was the therapist on I think Law and Order SVU. He was the therapist for a while. But just clowns, I think, are just brilliant. Edward saying that we love Lynn McCurdy's wife. I don't disagree. Anyone that brings you dinner. My Life Tracks. What's my name? I mentioned it a few times on chat. My channel. If you can't remember, I guess you'll have to watch all my videos.
And on that note,
it's funny because he has a collection. I know it's a guy, so I know that much. But he's just got this great collection of locomotives and of snowplows and of other things. And I know it's not Brian, but Brian is popping into my head. And boy, I am so like put on the spot right now. Wow. Yeah, Randall's like, for new people, this is like welcome to Arkham's Asylum. It's like if you watch the viewer thing, it like pops up to 29 and then drops right to 28. It's like, people are like checking in and then like just jumping right out. 5 rings. Oh, that's true. 5 ring circus with Mr. Woody. And if anybody was leading the circus, I think it was the last guy in the door.
If anybody has that, because I know there's some new people in here. If you hadn't seen it, you need to go to Jason the Train Freaks channel and find the holiday show that we did on the 20th. Because you want to talk about sidetracked. I don't think that could have gone any further sideways than what that night went. Oh.
Jeez, Mark. Wow, I was way off.
That was the thing too. Is I was always known as one of the class clowns. But then again, there's 10,000 comedians out of work, and I try to be one.
Ray, I've known you for a little while now. I never would have guessed you were the class clown. I mean, if you haven't grown up by this point, you know it was like it runs deep. It runs deep. Okay, so
the thing of it is people tell you can grow old. There's nothing saying you have to grow up.
No. Have you seen the collection of trains on my desk? I couldn't agree more. Okay, so who's going to help me remember that Mark's name is My Life's Tracks? Or My Life's Tracks' name is Mark.
By the way.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's Mark.
Interchangeable. Mark. Okay, so My Life's Tracks starts with M. So his first name starts with the same letter as the first name is. I'm doing my what's that called? Memory palace. I've got I'm walking through my palace, and over in the corner I see My Life's Tracks, and Mark is hanging out on My Life's Tracks because he's marked his tracks to say that they're his. So they're My Life's Tracks, and they're marked saying that they're his tracks. Okay, everyone got the memory palace thing going. We're all people are like, what is he talking about? Mark's like the barking hair-lip dog. When Ray puts on the hat, I think of the crocodile hunter. I like how you're just pulling out like random hats. It's like where? Roy says I refuse to grow up. Ray, my girlfriend would agree that I refuse to grow up as well. I was voted the class clown in 6th grade all 3 years. Oh, jeez, Thomas.
Oh.
So Cameron, Caboose 121, C Cameron, Caboose, C Cameron. Says Samsonite, I was way off. I don't know what the Samsonite is. And if people remember, Nisi left about 10 minutes ago.
I think it was, yeah.
And she's still commenting. Mark from My Life's Tracks. And okay, so DB Tech's an easy one because DB are actually his initials for his name. So DB Tech is Dragon Ball Tech. So if you want to know what his name is, you just remember DB is Dragon Ball.
See, the thing of it is, though, Adam, I have to get monetized to be able to do that. But I can still change hats.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any like super sticker.
I'm not changing the hats. It's the person under the hat that keeps changing.
So who are you now?
Yeah, I don't know. Me, myself, and I.
Yeah, so Nisi, we got to find a way to figure out what your channel is. It looks like you've got Snoopy in your channel. Let's see if my Google skills can find her channel. ANISSA. ANI, that's a lot of S's. KHNSON. Oh boy, there's a lot. Oh boy. Jeez. Hold on, let's go back to filters, go to channel. Should I share the screen so people can see how nutty this is? Let's see, if we find this, you realize we're all gonna have to go subscribe to her channel.
I think I already did. I think because she subscribed to mine, I think a couple days ago.
Well, if you know what her channel is, why don't you post the link?
I might be able to. Wait a minute. I didn't even think about that. It's been a long day.
See, here already it says Erica Johnson. So like it's already changed away from the Nisi.
Let's see here.
So I didn't see any with the dog.
I do.
Oh,
and I'm apparently her only subscriber.
Are you real? Well, yeah, because nobody can find her.
Because nobody can find her. Here we go.
Yeah, Nisi, looks like Ray's going to post it up here, and then you should have 32 subscribers in the next 5 minutes because everybody on here is now going to go subscribe to your channel. Wouldn't that be hilarious if she ended up with actually 32?
Well, now she's got 2. Now she's got 3.
One of those is me. I did actually go over there. So Nisi, now that you've been found,
9 subscribers.
Oh, Caboose says Dumb and Dumber quote. There we go.
Can she hit double digits? There you go.
She hit double digit. Well, now she's got to start posting videos.
Yeah, there you go.
So Nisi,
subscribers on those videos.
Nisi, we found you now. So we got yeah, Thomas. Well, Thomas, I don't think you haven't posted a video in a while either, and I think you have like 1.6 thousand subscribers. So I don't know if you got to be careful what you're throwing there, Thomas. Oh, look, Steve Childers was art. I tell you, this guy Steve, he's out there. All right, so we're up to 14. We're not at 32 yet, but we're at 14. I guess it would help if people had any idea what they're subscribing to. So Nisi, if you want to put in the chat what your YouTube channel is going to be about, once you oh, there we go.
There we go.
Thomas says, "Hey Paul," which is, as we know, Nisi's name. Unbox the Zephyr. That's actually a great idea. That would be a good first video. Unboxing the Zephyr.
Unboxing, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, 15. 18.
There we go. We're getting there. So, Nisi, tell us what is your... Roy says halfway to 32. Now, of course, if I had to do that math, I'd be like, oh, I only have 20 fingers and toes. I don't figure out what half of 32 is.
Oh, boy. Well,
Nisi, you bought it from Yankee Dabbler. Nisi, what? I don't even know what to say. Look, Nisi. Look what's on the screen. 10% off and free shipping. Discount code HUMAN. He's got all the Digitrak stuff. He's got it all. Oh, Nisi. Can someone like time her out or something? Like just like I mean, she was supposed to leave 15 minutes ago anyway, and we mention mention her channel. We get her 16 subs.
Edward, it was just a number of people in here watching. We went ahead and posted the link to her channel, so that way, yeah, I can post it again.
Post it again for us.
Yep,
there was absolutely no significance. So YouTube might not take them away because we're all in the chat together. They don't necessarily take them all away. Nisi's saying, I'm sorry. It's okay. You can return it and then buy it again. I'm just kidding.
Oh, boy.
I'm just kidding. So Mark wants to know if she's going to subscribe back to all of us. Mark, maybe if you've got some good videos on your channel, and maybe if your name's not Mark. It looks like she's up to 19 now.
20.
So Brian Page Model Trains, what's this about? So I don't know. I mean, should I go back to the beginning and go through the whole thing again?
Hey, Brian, go back to 8 o'clock. We'll wait.
I've got the agenda right here. We're actually like somewhere like down here now as far as the agenda goes. But I kind of went through the agenda. The hour-long stream started at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we're now 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. My Life Tracks is now saying, why do I keep calling him Mark? Didn't he say his name was Mark? Am I like going nuts over here? What's happening?
Oh, boy.
I think Nisi is in Florida. I think that's correct. Southwest Modeler, if people don't know, if you can't tell from his logos, from Australia. So it looks like Australia's waking up and starting to check in. And so Nisi says she thinks she's subscribed to just about everybody. Give or take a few new people. So why am I calling him Mark? Isn't his name Mark? Now his name he's in my memory palace as Mark. So if it's not Mark, we're not. No more circus jokes. No more.
Well, the elephant in the room.
And now he's saying, "I'm just joking. It is Mark." So Brian Page, his logo used to be the Texas flag, and then I'm assuming it's the same Brian Page. Changed his name to Brian Page Model Trains, and now he's got the BPNT logo as well. So he's been doing some work on his channel. It looks like. Nisi can now legally drink. She's at 21.
Oh, Lord.
So, Steve and Nisi are planning a trip together. They're exchanging general locations. Let's see. Oh, it's 12:15 p.m. Oh, so it's afternoon already in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
Greg popping in as well. Let's see. Mark. That's what he said. That is what he said, but now he's saying, I don't. So Robert from Flying Crow says that his name is not Robert, it's just his stage name.
Shirley, you must be joking. No, I'm not. Stop calling me Shirley.
Can't be serious. Can't be serious. Yeah, you could really confuse us. Start responding to your middle name. I'm hoping your middle name is Chuck. Maybe.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
I thought it was Brian. Yeah, check out Brian's channel. It's cool too. Ever watch Tina Marie's? There's some cool channel. Cool. I don't know if that's the right word. I've been finding some more women model railroad channels that are doing some amazing work. Tina Marie from Mojave Model Railroad, Carol Flavin, CarolFlavin. She was on that show that Jenny Kirk was on, where they had to build the layouts. She was a member of the Loco Ladies. She's got a YouTube channel that I've been watching, and she's been posting a bunch of stuff to it. Who else has been? There's a couple. I mean, obviously, there's Kathy Millett and Jennifer Kirk. I mean, I say that obviously, some people might not know, but there's some cool. Cool's not the right word. Oh, another really good one was what is it called? Eminem. They were just interviewed on Model Railroading Live. Who's talking to Big Bill? It's like Eminem Model Railroad or something like that. It's I think Mark and Mary maybe, or
Yeah.
Mike and Mary. I forget exactly. But husband wife team, and both of them doing different modeling stuff as well. So it's 9:15 p.m. in the Midwest, 6:13 on the West Coast, and 10:13. How is it 6:13 on the West Coast? Wouldn't it be 10:98, 7:13 on the West Coast? It's, I don't know. Rich is saying his name is Bob. So if people don't know, Trains and Things K&R stands for Ken and Rich Custom Models. They make O-scale signals and some other things like that. So I know that it's not Bob. It could be Ken, but I'm pretty sure it's Rich is the one that usually comes on and
It's my
talks.
brother Bob and my other brother Rob.
What a great show, right? The Bob Newhart show. Such a great show.
Oh, dude. I hate to cut this short there, Heath, but I'm going to have to split, my friend. I'm going to have to get going. I got to get to work in the morning, even though work is right here at the table. But
So what you're saying is you just need to rotate your chair around and you're at work, but yet you have to leave now
well, the bed's
to
upstairs.
get there by 6 a.m.
The bed's upstairs.
Oh, I see. He's saying Robert Johnson's name is Bob. You can spell it backwards. Can you put the link to the ladies' channel? Are there any mods still here? If John from Schuylkill River Valley, Mojave Model Railroad, or
Well, there was a
that is it. Michael Nicodemus is the M&M one. Which one's this, Ray?
That was Anissa's or Nieces.
Oh, Nieces. That's Nieces.
Yeah. I don't know if I've got. I have to look to see. I thought that I had Mojave in here too.
So Ray, I'm going to wrap this up as well. So you told me at 6:00 tonight you had a video come out where you did a layout update.
Yep.
And anything else you got going on that you want people to know
I'm
about?
hoping tomorrow evening to actually kick off the 400 subscriber contest, something I've been going ahead and warning people about for 2 months now. I think I finally got some things together to where I can actually do a contest. So that'll be opening up hopefully tomorrow evening. So If you are a subscriber, keep your eyes and ears open because there'll hopefully be a video out tomorrow night for that. It'll probably be after your live show tomorrow night there, Heath, but it'll hopefully definitely be out tomorrow night.
Awesome. Yeah, so I am doing Modeling Monday. Edward is saying that we haven't done the singing yet and that we can't stop the show until we do the singing. Edward, you are more than welcome to wait around until the singing starts. Might be a while. So here's Tina Marie's Mojave Model Railroad channel. Thank you, John from Schuylkill.
Yeah, back. Give me a second.
It's been a long night. I feel like 2 hours is about a good length for a stream of mine. Any longer than that, and I definitely start fading a little bit. Nisi's starting to sing. These boots were made for walking. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap this up as well. We'll try and get those last couple links in the chat as well. I'm going to run my end screen, which a lot of thank yous for sponsors, thanking people that have supported the channel and stuff like that. So, definitely check that out if you would. I'll also be playing my new theme song. That's not really my theme song, just a song I found online. Here's M&M Model Railways, which is Michael, and I think it's Mary as well, but I'm not 100% sure. But Grandpa Rails, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Here is Ray's channel as well. Have a really great rest of your Sunday, if there is still any Sunday left. Thanks, Ray, for coming up here and proving that N scale is the best scale. I just had to get that in at the end. And, exactly, So have a great night, all, and I'll see everybody 6 p.m. tomorrow night for Modeling Monday, and who knows what's going to happen.
It's all about humanity.